My wife thought it was hilarious to host Rate My Husband nights with her friends, mocking my looks, my job, even my cooking. I never imagined the woman I'd loved for 6 years could be so systematically cruel. I discovered this betrayal on a Tuesday evening when I finished a rewiring job early and decided to surprise Monica with dinner from her favorite Thai place. Walking up to our Denver home, I heard unusual laughter coming from our living room, the kind of mean-spirited giggling that makes your stomach turn. I quietly entered through the back door and found Monica hosting what she proudly called a Rate My Husband party with 5 of her girlfriends. They were sitting around our coffee table with wine glasses and actual scorecards, rating my appearance on a scale of 1 to 10 while scrolling through photos on Monica's phone. "Look at this one from last weekend," Monica said, showing them a picture of me fixing our fence. "I mean, the man wears the same ratty work shirts everywhere. Zero fashion sense." Her friend Jessica held up a scorecard with a big 4 written on it. "At least he's handy around the house. That counts for something, right?" The room erupted in laughter. "Barely," Monica replied. "You should see him try to cook. Last week he made this pasta dish that looked like something our dog wouldn't eat." They moved through categories methodically. My cooking skills earned me mostly 3s and 4s. My job as an electrical contractor got mixed reviews depending on whether they valued stability or prestige, and their discussion of our bedroom performance made me want to disappear into the floor. "The sad part is," Monica continued, refilling her wine glass, "we've been doing this monthly for over a year now. Tom has no idea how thoroughly we've documented his mediocrity." Her friend Sarah waved a folder thick with papers. "I keep all the scorecards organized by month. It's fascinating to track the patterns." They had created an actual points-based system where the lowest-scoring husbands became subjects for what they called improvement challenges, basically group projects to mock and manipulate their spouses into changing. I stood frozen in my own kitchen, listening to the woman I'd planned to grow old with systematically destroy my self-worth for entertainment. The betrayal wasn't just the rating itself, but the calculated nature of it, the organization, the fact that she'd been building this humiliation campaign for over a year while I trusted her completely. When Monica suggested they rate how well I handled constructive criticism, I realized this wasn't casual gossip among friends. This was psychological warfare disguised as a wine party. I spent the next 3 days in a state of controlled fury, going through the motions of normal life while secretly investigating the full scope of Monica's betrayal. I waited until she left for her marketing job on Friday morning, then opened her laptop using the password she'd never bothered to change, our anniversary date, which now felt like a cruel joke. What I found made my stomach drop through the floor. Monica had created elaborate spreadsheets tracking monthly ratings for me and at least 8 other husbands in our social circle across categories like professional success, physical attractiveness, domestic skills, and romantic performance. My scores consistently ranked in the bottom third, with detailed comments that made me feel like a laboratory specimen being dissected. Under professional success, she'd written, electrical contractor, decent income but blue-collar, limited growth potential, lacks ambition for management roles. The physical attractiveness section contained a month-by-month breakdown of my appearance with photos she'd taken without my knowledge, including unflattering shots of me working in the yard or eating breakfast. But the real knife to the heart was discovering their private social media group called Husband Report Cards, with 47 members, nearly 50 women systematically documenting and mocking their spouses. Monica had posted dozens of photos and videos of me, including one from last month where I was cooking dinner while she provided live commentary to her phone. "Watch him try to flip this pancake. He's been attempting basic cooking skills for 6 years and still burns everything he touches. It's honestly embarrassing how helpless he is in his own kitchen." The comments from other wives were brutal, rating my cooking technique and suggesting improvement strategies, like sending me to cooking classes or hiring a personal trainer. I found videos of myself mowing the lawn, fixing our garbage disposal, even one where I was singing in the shower, all posted for their entertainment with Monica's sarcastic commentary about my pathetic attempts at masculinity. The group had established detailed ranking systems comparing husbands like we were contestants in some twisted reality show, complete with monthly winners and losers based on accumulated points. Monica had even created PowerPoint presentations analyzing my performance trends over the past year, noting areas where my scores had declined and celebrating moments when other husbands ranked lower than me. The most devastating discovery was a video compilation she'd made titled Tom's Greatest Failures, featuring my worst moments from the past 6 months, dropping a wrench while fixing our sink, burning dinner on our anniversary, struggling to assemble furniture from IKEA, all set to comedic music and shared with dozens of women who were supposed to be our friends. I realized that every dinner party, every social gathering, every moment of intimacy in our marriage had potentially been recorded, analyzed, and turned into content for their cruel entertainment system. I spent the weekend crafting what would become the most elaborate revenge plan of my life, fueled by a cold anger that sharpened my focus like nothing I'd ever experienced. Monica thought she was dealing with a simple electrician who lacked imagination, but 16 years of problem-solving in my trade had taught me that the most complex challenges require methodical planning and precise execution. I contacted Summit Events, a high-end event planning company downtown, and explained that I needed to organize a unique social experiment that would require professional photography, videography, and a venue that could handle significant foot traffic. The coordinator, intrigued by my unusual request, suggested the Grand Ballroom at the Millennium Hotel, a space typically reserved for corporate events and wedding receptions. I booked it for the following Saturday, exactly 1 week after Monica's next scheduled rating party, and paid the substantial deposit from my business account without hesitation. Creating the Replace My Wife audition application took me 3 days of careful consideration, drawing from the same categories Monica had used to judge me but with far more dignity and substance. I designed questions about career goals, personal values, views on marriage respect, and how they handled conflict in relationships. The application included a section asking candidates to rate their own qualifications as a potential partner, turning Monica's rating system into a tool for self-reflection rather than cruelty. Through LinkedIn and professional networking sites, I reached out to accomplished women I'd met through work connections. Contractors often interact with lawyers, doctors, and business owners during commercial projects. I carefully explained my situation without revealing too many details, positioning the event as a social experiment about marriage and respect. To my surprise, several women immediately volunteered to participate, expressing disgust at Monica's behavior and eagerness to help expose such systematic cruelty. Dr. Catherine Williams, a veterinarian who'd hired my company to rewire her clinic, was particularly enthusiastic about the plan. "Your wife sounds absolutely terrible," she told me during our phone conversation. "I'd be happy to help demonstrate what actual character looks like." I spent hours researching live streaming technology and social media platforms, determined to broadcast the entire event to the same husband report cards group where Monica had been humiliating me. The plan included having each participating woman receive scorecards to rate Monica on appearance, personality, career achievement, and overall wife material qualities, essentially putting her through the same degrading process she'd subjected me to for over a year. I arranged for professional lighting that would make the venue look impressive on camera, registration tables staffed by the event company, and a sound system that would ensure every word was captured clearly. The masterstroke was timing everything to coincide with Monica's rating party, knowing she'd likely want to crash what she assumed would be my pathetic attempt at social revenge. Saturday evening arrived with perfect timing. Monica was hosting her monthly rating party while I put the final touches on what would become the most satisfying night of my life. I announced the Replace My Wife auditions on every social media platform I could access, including the private husband report cards group using screenshots I'd taken from Monica's laptop, timing the posts to go live exactly as her friends arrived at our house. The response was immediate and overwhelming, not just from the women I'd contacted, but from dozens of others who'd seen the posts and wanted to witness what they assumed would be spectacular drama. I arrived at the Millennium Hotel 3 hours early to oversee the setup, watching the event coordination team transform the Grand Ballroom into something that looked like a cross between a job fair and a television production studio. Professional photographers positioned lighting equipment while videographers tested multiple camera angles to ensure the live stream would capture every reaction. The registration tables were elegantly arranged with clipboards containing the rating forms I'd designed, and a large banner reading "Replace my wife Auditions. Character, integrity, and respect required" hung prominently behind the main stage. By 7 o'clock, a line of women stretched around the hotel block: doctors, lawyers, business owners, teachers, and professionals from every field imaginable, all eager to participate in what had become a viral social experiment. Dr. Catherine Williams arrived first, wearing a sharp business suit and carrying herself with the kind of confidence that made Monica's insecurity obvious by comparison. "I brought some colleagues," she said with a grin, gesturing to 3 other professional women behind her. "We're all curious to meet the wife who thinks rating her husband is entertainment." The live stream went active at 7:30, immediately drawing viewers from the husband report cards group and spreading rapidly across social media platforms as people shared the link. I watched the viewer count climb from dozens to hundreds to over 1,000 within the first 10 minutes, knowing that Monica would soon discover her private humiliation system had been turned into a public spectacle. When Monica and her friends finally arrived around 8 o'clock, expecting to crash what they assumed would be my desperate and poorly attended event, their faces went white with shock. The line of accomplished women stretched down the hotel corridor, professional cameras were capturing everything, and the whole scene looked more like a premiere than the pathetic display they'd anticipated. "What the hell is this, Tom?" Monica demanded, her voice shrill enough to carry across the ballroom. I handed her a clipboard with the same rating form I'd given every other participant. "It's exactly what I announced. Replace my wife Auditions. You're welcome to participate, or you can watch these ladies rate you the same way you've been rating me for over a year." Her friends clustered behind her, suddenly realizing they'd walked into a trap that was being broadcast live to hundreds of viewers, including many people who knew them personally and professionally. The transformation in the room was immediate and electric as the participating women learned exactly what Monica had been doing to me for over a year, their disgust visible on every face as I explained the rating system while the cameras captured everything. Dr. Catherine stepped forward first, her professional composure radiating authority that made Monica shrink visibly. "So you've been systematically humiliating your husband for entertainment," Catherine said, her voice carrying the kind of moral clarity that cuts through excuses. "Rating his appearance, his career, his intimate moments, and sharing it all with strangers online." Monica's face flushed red as she realized how her behavior sounded when described by someone with actual integrity. "It wasn't like that," she stammered. "We were just having fun among friends." Several women in the crowd audibly scoffed, and one of them, a successful attorney named Rebecca who'd seen my posts, held up her phone showing Monica's husband report cards group. "Fun? You made PowerPoint presentations mocking his failures and posted videos of him without consent. That's not friendship, it's psychological abuse." The participating women began circulating with their clipboards, rating Monica on appearance, personality, career achievement, and wife material qualities while she stood frozen in the center of the ballroom. Their scores were brutal but fair, mostly 3s and 4s across the board, with devastating comments about her character and maturity. Professional achievement: marketing coordinator, basic entry-level position after 6 years, shows limited ambition and growth potential, one woman read aloud. Personality assessment: cruel, manipulative, lacks empathy, demonstrates narcissistic tendencies, unsuitable for healthy relationships. Monica's attempts to defend herself only made things worse as the live stream audience watched her reveal more of her entitled attitude. "Tom doesn't understand how much pressure I'm under," she whined to the cameras. "I work hard at my job and I deserve to vent with my friends." Dr. Catherine laughed, a sound that carried zero warmth. "Venting is complaining about work stress. What you did was organize a systematic campaign to destroy your husband's self-worth for sport." The crowd murmured agreement as more women shared their assessment scores, creating a real-time demonstration of how it felt to be publicly evaluated and found lacking. But the biggest surprise came when Catherine approached me during a brief break in the rating session, her demeanor shifting from professional to personal. "Tom, I need to tell you something," she said, glancing at the cameras before continuing. "I've been hoping for months that you'd realize what kind of person you married. I've admired your work ethic and integrity since you rewired my clinic, and frankly, you deserve so much better than this. The revelation that an accomplished, beautiful woman had been romantically interested in me while Monica was busy rating my inadequacies sent visible shockwaves through the room and the live stream comments. Monica's face went from red to pale as she realized that her systematic campaign to convince me I was unworthy had been contradicted by someone who actually knew my value. The live stream exploded as viewers shared Monica's public humiliation across every social media platform, transforming her from a private bully into an internet cautionary tale within hours. The video clips of her defending the rating system while surrounded by disgusted professional women went viral immediately, garnering hundreds of thousands of views and overwhelmingly negative comments about her character and behavior. By Monday morning, Monica's employer, Pinnacle Marketing Solutions, a prestigious firm that prided itself on ethical business practices, had received dozens of calls and emails from potential clients expressing concern about having someone with such poor judgment representing their brand. Her supervisor called her into a meeting that afternoon and placed her on administrative leave pending a full investigation into her conduct, citing company policies about maintaining professional reputation and avoiding activities that could damage client relationships. Meanwhile, my electrical contracting business experienced the opposite effect. Calls started pouring in from people who'd seen the live stream and wanted to hire someone with the integrity and creativity I'd demonstrated. Within a week, I had more work booked than I could handle, with several clients specifically mentioning that they admired how I'd handled the situation with dignity rather than stooping to Monica's level of cruelty. Monica's friends, who'd been enthusiastic participants in her rating parties, suddenly developed collective amnesia about their involvement as screenshots and videos from the husband report cards group circulated online. Jessica, Sarah, and the others blocked Monica on social media and refused to take her calls, terrified that their own participation in the systematic husband shaming would be exposed to their families and employers. The isolation hit Monica harder than the public humiliation. Suddenly finding herself completely alone while facing the consequences of her behavior made her realize how shallow and transactional all her relationships had been. The legal implications became serious when I consulted with Rebecca, the attorney who'd participated in the auditions, about Monica's unauthorized recording and sharing of private moments. What she did constitutes invasion of privacy and could potentially be considered a form of harassment, Rebecca explained during our consultation. The fact that she shared intimate details and videos without your consent, especially in an organized group dedicated to humiliation, gives you grounds for both civil and potentially criminal action. The threat of legal consequences sent Monica into panic mode, culminating in a desperate attempt to salvage her reputation by claiming she was the real victim. The event concluded with my announcement that I'd be filing for divorce immediately and pursuing a relationship with Catherine, who stepped forward to publicly praise my character and professional success. Tom represents everything a real partner should be, Catherine said into the cameras, hardworking, faithful, creative, and strong enough to stand up for himself when disrespected. I'm honored that he's interested in building something genuine with someone who actually appreciates him. Monica's final desperate outburst, screaming that I was making a huge mistake and that no one would ever love me like she did, was captured in high definition and became the most shared clip of the entire evening, perfectly demonstrating the entitlement and lack of self-awareness that had destroyed our marriage. 6 months later, I stood in Catherine's veterinary clinic watching her expertly handle a difficult surgery while planning our engagement celebration, marveling at how completely my life had transformed since that devastating night when I discovered Monica's rating parties. Catherine and I had built something genuine and supportive. She celebrated my work successes, encouraged my business expansion, and never once made me feel like I needed to prove my worth through her arbitrary standards. When I told her about my plans to propose, she laughed and said she'd been hoping I'd finally ask, because spending life with someone who valued integrity over image felt like winning the lottery. Monica's consequences had been swift and permanent. She lost her marketing job after the company's investigation revealed that several clients had specifically requested she be removed from their accounts, and her attempts to find similar employment were consistently derailed by the viral video that appeared in every background check. She'd been forced to move back with her parents and take a retail position at significantly reduced pay, while the social isolation from losing all her friends left her genuinely alone for the first time in her adult life. My business had flourished beyond anything I'd imagined possible, with the creative problem-solving I'd demonstrated during the Replace My Wife event leading to contracts with several major commercial clients who valued both my technical skills and my character. Catherine often joked that Monica had actually done me a favor by revealing her true nature before I wasted more years trying to earn the respect of someone incapable of giving it. Last week, Catherine and I got engaged in a simple ceremony at her clinic, surrounded by the animals she'd rescued and the life we'd built together based on mutual respect and genuine affection. When I think about Monica's rating system now, I realize the only score that ever mattered was the one Catherine gave me: perfect marks for being exactly who I was, without needing improvement challenges or systematic evaluation to prove my worth.